My name is Doug Bremner. I'm a doctor and a writer and live in Atlanta, Georgia. I have done some research on a drug called Accutane that's used in the treatment of acne in young people. And as part of that research, we did brain scans on people and showed that they have a decrease in brain function sometimes when they take this particular acne medication. And that was evidence that it affects the brain. And the manufacturer of Accutane, Hoffmann-La Roche Pharmaceuticals, denies that there's any connection between Accutane and brain-induced mental depression. There's been several hundred people worldwide who have committed suicide after taking this particular medication, and of course for the families of those people who have died, it's a tragedy. But as part of my work with this particular medication, I learned that there are many aspects of the medication where side effects that are potentially fatal or can cause lifelong problems were not fully disclosed to families and to physicians who are prescribing this medication. I'm a physician myself, and I think there's cause for concern that there's other medications that may be more dangerous than we think. And so that led me to write this book called Before You Take That Pill, Why the Drug Industry May Be Bad for Your Health. Now you might think that the companies that make these medications would be glad to have a guide that pointed out some of the dangers of prescription medications, but in fact they weren't very happy. In fact, I've been deposed about 15 times by the makers of Accutane, and they accused me of fraud and did other things to basically hassle me to try and get me to stop talking about this connection between Accutane and depression, but I think it's important. I was accused of fraud by the manufacturer of Accutane, Hoffmann-La Roche. They wrote letters to the journal in which our study was published, and that was forwarded on to my university, Emory University in Atlanta, Georgia, and they conducted an inquiry and found no evidence for their accusation of fraud. In my opinion, this was just an effort by the manufacturer of Accutane to harass individual physician researchers such as myself and intimidate people into doing research on side effects that can potentially affect their bottom line. That is the $1 billion a year they make in for sales of a drug like Accutane, or at least they did a few years ago. I'm not an alternative medicine physician. I'm not out to buck the establishment or anything. I'm just a regular physician who does research, and I happen to get on the wrong side of a large and powerful drug company, and I think this sort of thing happens all the time. This is the entry to my house, where there's a pile of about 8 FedEx boxes that has all the papers and all the documents I've ever used in my writing about Accutane and depression, and it's pretty much just become a regular shrine in our house here, because I've been deposed 15 times, and so every time I have to box everything up and send it off to the lawyers, and I just got tired of carrying it up and down the stairs, so it just sort of sits here. And my wife keeps nagging me to do something with it, right?